What's up, guys? This is the audio formatted review for SmackDown 127-23, the go-home show to the Royal Rumble. You gotta dig deep down, Vince McMahon-esque, whenever you deliver Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, WrestleMania, right? A lot of us grew up remembering Vince McMahon digging deep down to deliver those pay-per-view names. Kind of missed that, actually. But this was the go-home show to the Rumble. It was a show that was highlighted by a main event of Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa, and the undercard was spotlighted by the tag team tournament that is going to set up the number one contenders for the Usos SmackDown championships. You add in a little bit of Bray Wyatt LA Knight, you sprinkle in a Lacey Evans squash match, raw talent in turmoil like Bobby Lashley, Austin Theory, The Miz. You bring in the NXT Tag Champions in the very same segment, The New Day. You sprinkle in Brock Lesnar causing havoc, and that's all in one segment. So you have a lot. Karrion Kross being meaninglessly pinned last night by Mysterio. We'll talk all about that coming up. But first, guys, before I get to this show, and I won't keep you here too long, obviously, you got the Rumble tonight. BC hopes to be covering that as well, as always. But I have to ask, down below, unit, I need two names who you think are going to win the Rumble tonight. One male, one female. For instance, if you think it's going to be Cody Rhodes for the men, and maybe a returning Ronda Rousey, even though we're hearing that's not supposed to happen. But maybe you have Cody Rhodes or Ronda Rousey. Put those two names down below. BC is asking his unit to put the two names down below who you think are going to win the Rumble. If you think it's Sami Zayn and Rhea Ripley, put it down below. But everybody put two names down below who you think is going to win the Rumble tonight. Not who you want to, by the way. Who you think is going to win the Rumble. Put it down below. It doesn't matter who. You could say The Rock. You think The Rock is going to show up, and you think he's going to win this thing. Maybe it's The Rock and Raquel Rodriguez. Put two names down below. Appreciate that, unit. Now, let's get right into the show, because it is a big day. It's Rumble tonight. Probably could go 4 hours for all we know. So let's get this review rocking, man. We started parking lot. Usos and Solo roll up. And Sami Zayn comes from around the corner of a WWE 18-wheeler. Jay says, "You're not supposed to be here. You know the tribal chief's orders. He didn't want to see you." Sami says, "I know. I just had to say thank you. And if you ever need anything, I got you." Jay's like, "Okay, thanks, Us. Now hit the bricks." So Sami throws on the black hoodie and he starts to head toward the street as Jey Uso is like, "Damn, kid's got some balls to go against the tribal chief and show up at the arena." But that's what Sami Zayn did. Now later on, Sami actually would stick around and Jey Uso would actually call upon him. We'll get to that in a few minutes. But that's how we started the show. Sami Zayn going against the tribal chief's orders. Then we go into the first match of the night, which is Rey Mysterio defeating Karrion Kross via pinfall. How did he win, you ask? How did Rey Mysterio beat this big badass Karrion Kross, right? Well, it's how every smaller dude would beat a bigger dude, right? The awe-inspiring, ultra-devastating Faroot roll-up. You knew WWE had the rear the ugly head of the roll-up. This was a hold-em-down roll-up. So almost crucifix style, and he rolls them up. So it's a different version, obviously. It's not like a school package, small package. It's not one of those, but it's still a hold 'em down fruit roll up, and it just does not make somebody like Karrion Kross look good. Somebody like Karrion Kross should not be being pinned that way. That is absolutely just mind-bogglingly stupid. But that's what WWE went with. Listen, if you're going to have Rey Mysterio win the match, at least put some creativity into it and make Kross look better. On top of that, why is Kross losing ridiculously a night before the Rumble? Like, if you think Mysterio and Kross is going to pop a rating, it's not going to happen. And they just paraded Cross out there. And this is something. Is it a storyline or a feud that many of us really gave a shit about? That there was a lot of energy put into it, a lot of creativity put into it? Of course not. But it was a type of a storyline that's been dragging out for weeks, and it's just paraded out there a day before Royal Rumble and put on with the finish that they actually gave us. I don't understand it. Here we are the next morning. I still am just as mind-boggled by that decision. I don't know what that does for Cross. He comes off a really good feud with Drew McIntyre just to get rolled up by Mysterio, and not even in a match at the Royal Rumble. I just don't understand it, and this is the type of booking, whether it's 3H's or VKM, that cannot take place. Next up was a wild segment next to Austin Theory coming to the ring, says he's going to win the Royal Rumble. And BC's thinking, in what? Dig up the 24/7 title out of the trash and then cash in on it? I mean, what does this dude think he's going to do if he wins the Rumble? He already said he doesn't want to take on Roman. There's no winning there. So the New Day end up coming to the ring. The NXT Tag Team Champions. They come down to the ring. They immediately just start laughing at Theory for even thinking about winning the Rumble. And PC kind of had to laugh with them because they get the joke. The Miz then comes to the ring. Miz botches his promo. He says there's nothing more dangerous than a shabashim shamashim, something on my shoulder. And he smiles. He just literally laughs. Before Miz and Theory start throwing an exchange with the New Day. So what he was supposed to say was there's nothing more dangerous than Miz with a chip on his shoulder, but he fumbled the words and it came up as Shabba Shimba Shumba. And then he just gave up and said, something on my shoulder. And then he just started laughing, and then they started fighting the New Day. You can't help but laugh because Miz has been doing this for so long that for him to just give up like that it's kind of funny, but it does also tell you that, I don't know if Miz is fully checked in anymore. You know what I mean? Maybe he's been doing this so long. Maybe he's just into the Hollywood aspect now. But I don't know. This was not the shades of Miz's promo work from the past. Anyway, after the Miz is botched there, and then they start brawling, Lashley hits the ring. Bobby Lashley destroys everybody. He grabs the mic, and he talks some shit about Lesnar. Now, Brock Lesnar hits the ring and says, yeah, bitch, F5. Sit the fuck down. And Lashley is laid out. So Brock Lesnar actually makes an appearance on Raw Monday and Friday Night SmackDown, man. And, of course, he'll be at the Rumble. So I guess they just brought him in for the whole week. They said, fuck it. Lesnar had so much time off, several months. He's like, dude, I got a full week in me. And after the Rumble, he'll probably be not seen again until maybe Elimination Chamber. Who knows? But Lashley was actually there. It's sad because Bobby made a good impression. The crowd was actually finally chanting for Bobby. And Lashley's he starts talking a little bit of shit about Lesnar, and then Lesnar just comes out of nowhere and says, sit down. So it's kind of... you felt bad for Bobby Lashley, but Lesnar is still the tank, man. Now, Lacey Evans is up next. Lacey Evans defeats, I didn't even catch her. We'll call her Lacey Laredo. Was there two Lacey's in the ring? I don't know. I think her last name was Laredo, but it was a straight jobber match. And Lacey was in there with a jobber. They booked her phenomenally, guys. And I know it's BC talking about Lacey Evans being booked phenomenally here, but jobber matches have to be in pro wrestling. I tell you guys that all the time. It's how you build superstars, right? Jobber matches. It's a chance for a few minutes to see the superstar just beat the shit out of the jobber, right? Make people see that is a superstar. And it's booking 101. And it's one of the most simplistic ways to build a superstar in today's wrestling. They just don't want to do that, They think that to build a consistent rating, you always have to have superstar A versus superstar B. The problem with that is one of those superstars always has to lose. And then you're just going to devalue their worth. You can't really do that. So jobber matches have to be. They actually did this correct for Lacey Evans. And It helps when it's done correctly. I've seen jobber matches that have zero effect at all because the superstars really ain't in it. You know, they're just not special enough, or there's not an aura about it, or there's no direction, there's no character growth or development from the jobber match. I've seen that many times as well. But for Lacey, a woman's right, which was her old finisher. She delivers a woman's right in this jobber match, and then she puts on her new finisher, the Cobra Clutch. And as this jobber, we'll call her Lacey Laredo. Probably don't have the name correct, but not good at names anyway. But anyway, she's tapping ferociously, and Lacey Evans doesn't give a shit. She keeps the clutch on, and then she just lays her out. Yells at the referee not to touch her, and then says, "Now put my hand up." So I thought that was pretty good. Post-match, she grabs the mic and talks a bunch of shit to the crowd. Then she literally picks up the jobber she just pinned and just tosses her over the top rope. Like, guys, I'm talking this chick cleared the fucking rope. She picked her up by her stomach and tossed her over the top rope. This is what I mean about a jobber match that actually has character development. I know that Lacey Evans has been dragged by pretty much the majority of the community. It's not because people don't like Lacey Evans. It's the booking of Lacey Evans. This was finally done correctly. Do they keep this up? We'll see. But this is how Ronda Rousey should have been booked from the beginning, guys. This is how Ronda Rousey should have been booked. I would say Shayna Baszler as well, but Lacey Evans is much more better on the microphone. Ronda Rousey would have been better on the mic if she was allowed to just talk shit naturally. She was way too overly scripted, and by the time they allowed her to talk some shit to the crowd, she was already reserved and didn't feel comfortable in that role and spot. So Shayna Baszler's just too reserved on the mic. Ronda Rousey would have been perfect for this type of role. You have her go in there and just fuck up jobbers. Heel-wise, too, man. Fuck them up a little bit after the match. This isn't UFC. It's pro wrestling. You can fuck them up a little bit afterwards as well. Grab the mic. Talk that shit to the crowd. This is what she used to do in the UFC. She would talk the shit to Dana White. She just didn't. She didn't care. You know, she was money, and she was not going to be sidelined. This is how they should have booked Ronda Rousey, and they're just giving the moon to Lacey Evans. And that's why I always say, too, like, there's no doubt 3H's has the realm of the WWE creative. A lot of it is now his. There's no question. There's still those people, though, that, you know, Vince McMahon wants to push. Doesn't care how you get there, but they better be pushed. Austin Theory, Lacey Evans, Charlotte Flair. She's both for 3H's and VKM. They both like Charlie. But you guys see who's being pushed. You know, even Braun Strowman just returning and being where he is now, going for tag titles. I mean, there's just certain individuals you can tell these are Vince McMahon's orders, and he wants Triple H to make sure that these people are in the ring, in segments, being pushed. So if you're going to do it, we just ask that it's correctly. Lacey Evans last night, believe it or not, this may be a shocker, BC was good with this, guys. This is the type of wrestler we should be seeing. These are the jobber matches. This is the type of shit you talk to the crowd. I have no negative at all from that Lacey Evans segment. Again, that might shock a lot of people. That was actually done good. Hour one ends with the Viking Raiders taking out Sheamus and Drew McIntyre. Thus, Braun Strowman and Ricochet are substituted, actually. They just, I think Adam Pearce just called them down or something. But Strowman and Ricochet are substituted for Sheamus and Drew, because we went to commercial after the Viking Raiders jumped Drew and Sheamus. When we came back from commercial, Drew and Sheamus are telling Adam Pearce they don't even care about the match. They want to go and get the Viking Raiders. So all of a sudden, Strowman and Ricochet are substituted for them in the semifinal of the tag team tournament against Hit Row. And on commentary, Wade Barrett says this isn't even logical, Michael Cole. And Michael Cole says the WWE philosophy for 10 years. Michael Cole says, why do you care about logic? Don't you ever just have fun? I think he said, well, why does everything have to be logical? Can't you just have fun? And I don't think Michael Cole understands that. We want to have the fun. We just want logic, right? We want common sense so that we can connect the dots and put down the right puzzle pieces where they should be for the storylines, right? That's what makes wrestling more fun, when we can understand it much better, much clearer, because there is logic and common sense. Wade Barrett saw that, and Michael Cole is just carrying out the WWE MO, right? Just throw logic and common sense in the trash. Just have fun. We're WWE. We put smiles on people's faces. Anyway, how dare Wade Barrett ask that question? How does this make any logical sense? Michael Cole answers, it does not. Just have fun. So here we go with this impromptu tag match. Semi-final, by the way. The winners go on to the final. And Strowman ends up pinning Ashanti for the W. So Braun Strowman and Ricochet headed to the finals to take on the winners of either LDF or Imperium. That match was in a couple of segments after, in hour number 2. In fact, we're going to hour number 2 right now. We start off hour number 2. We were already actually in hour 2. That tag match with Ricochet, Strowman, and the Hit Row was actually leaked into hour number 2. So, continuing with hour 2, we have an old school Wyatt family theme that starts to play. The old Wyatt family theme. And Wyatt family Bray, we think, is coming down the aisle. The button-up shirt, the old Wyatt hat. But it's clear as day when the camera zooms a little. It's L.A. Knight with a tiny, and I mean like a stuffed animal-sized tiny lantern. L.A. Knight throwing everybody for the swerve. It was beautiful, man. L.A. Knight cuts a solid promo. Yeah. And the lights flicker after this promo, but it was solid, man. L.A. Knight has been really good. And that's just... That gets me more excited to see a Stone Cold Steve Austin LA Knight feud, possibly for WrestleMania. Again, Jera9 Gaming with that thought the other night, and I was just thinking, like, that's perfect, man. Steve Austin, LA Knight, the feud, the promo work alone, gold. So LA cuts a solid promo. The lights start to flicker. Maybe they even go off for a second, and Bray Wyatt is seated in a rocking chair at the top of the ramp. Wyatt says his rebuttal, which is just as good, if not better than LA Knight's even, because Bray Wyatt's promo work is just genius anyway. And after his rebuttal, Uncle Howdy appears up in the rafters, and with the fog and the blue spotlight, it makes it seem like Howdy is in his own portal. It just looked really badass. It was nicely done, the entire segment. Short but sweet. You didn't deliver too much. And now we just see what this match is. This lights out. It has to just be an anything goes / falls count anywhere, right, guys? I mean, I don't understand how much more you can do in pro wrestling rules-wise. This seems to me like it's going to just be anything goes, probably falls count anywhere. And just the lights are going to be more dimmed. Can't be completely out, obviously, but maybe more dimmed. And I would expect to just see a lot of, like, Bray Wyatt characters. Even though he said The Fiend is absolutely dead. He's done. He's not going to bring back The Fiend. He said that in a recent interview. So I don't know. You're probably going to see Howdy. Maybe you see an Alexa Bliss appearance. Maybe you see a debut, right? Does Big Red appear? Rowan? What's amazing is that the wrestlers don't even know. Like, usually Bray knows in advance, because a lot of Bray's matches or concepts, everything comes from Bray. And then he just runs it over with either Vince or now three H's, maybe some writing staff, just to show them what he wants. But Bray usually gets his way on that, and then it just gets checked off by the powers that be. But in this case, Bray has said time and time again, he doesn't know what this is, because this is a sponsored match by Mountain Dew. And this is just what WWE is literally putting him in. LA Knight has said time and time again, one interview after another, he has no idea at all. He has not even been told one aspect of the match. And this isn't just for kayfabe reasons. They are literally saying they don't know what this match consists of. Now, here we are hours before Rumble. Of course, they're going to know by now. They have to go over this. But this was WWE just tagging up with Mountain Dew, delivering the sponsorship match announcement, but not really knowing what it is. And we all made fun of it. Like our people running around fucking like with balloons instead filled with water, but instead with Mountain Dew soda, and we're having a balloon fight. We're dumping buckets of fucking Mountain Dew soda on people like we were making fun. Super soakers filled with Mountain Dew. But, once the wrestlers start saying they really don't know what it even is, you start thinking, what is WWE going to do, man? Is this going to be like the Zombies match from a while ago? Is this going to be like the Pizza Hut partnership where people are just eating pizza while the Battle Royal is going on? Braun Strowman, Montez Ford is eating pizza. I really hope the best for this because Bray Wyatt's my boy. I want to see the best for him. And Bray Wyatt said in a recent interview, he said that they have to deliver. Like, he knows he's been gone for a while. This is his first feud back. He has to deliver. So whatever WWE has him in, this is the dance now, and he's got to make sure that he's being put in the best of light. Some of the biggest matches for Bray Wyatt, Vince McMahon had him lose. Goldberg, Super Showdown in Saudi, Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins, WrestleMania with Randy Orton. I mean, these are just, it's unacceptable. And you guys can think of many more as well as I can. This is one of those things where it's not even just about the win. Of course, Bray has to win this. LA Knight can get some redemption for WrestleMania. But it's about how this match is going to be perceived. And that's, this is where WWE has to be careful. Partnerships are one thing. Getting that extra sponsorship money is one thing. But if you don't do this correctly or you don't know how to, this could absolutely, this is going to be something we're all going to be watching. That's all I'm going to say, man. We're all going to be tuned in closely to the Lights Out match, Bray Wyatt, LA Knight, because nobody has a clue what it is, not even the wrestlers, but we all know it has to deliver. That's all I'm going to say on it. We'll see what happens and develops tonight. Bray Wyatt, LA Knight. But that was their segment, man. Just a good back and forth promo, and then Howdy in his upper deck portal, if you will. Very well done. LDF versus Imperium is next. Imperium gets the W and moves on to the final against Braun and Ricochet. So I can't tell you that this is a match that BC's looking forward to because I'm just not. I feel like we've already seen it anyway, haven't we? Was it Imperium that defeated Braun and Ricochet? And that's what eliminated them in the first place? If not, it feels like I've seen it before, so possibly this is a rematch. But Imperium versus Braun Strowman and Ricochet to find out who takes on the Usos. I can't say that any of this tag team tournament did anything for me, but it's a day and age in wrestling where we see so many tournaments. It devalues it. And then when you didn't have a tag team division anyway, and then you just throw them all in there in this tournament, I couldn't really get behind it. Again, on TV, you got a bunch of commercials too, so you can't let it kind of settle in. But that's where we are. LDF, Imperium. Imperium gets the W. The final is now set. And this was their way to save Sheamus and Drew McIntyre, let them save face because they knew they were not going to win tag titles. That would be stupid. I mean, Drew and Sheamus, just throwing them together to win tag titles over the Usos, that's not going to do justice to Drew and Sheamus. And you're not going to convince anybody like BC that the Usos' entire tag title reign was just to give them to Drew and Sheamus. It does not make any sense, man. So that was a way to make them save face. We're going to get our hands on the Viking Raiders. And I don't know. Oddly, guys, I'm more interested to see the Viking Raiders versus Sheamus and Drew than I am Imperium, Braun, and Ricochet in the final. Anyway, that's all the tag team talk we need to talk about. Then they played a Royal Rumble video package. And they did our boy Titus O'Neil dirty, man, replaying his greatest Royal Rumble trip over and over and over again. And even in slow motion. You guys remember the greatest Royal Rumble, Saudi Arabia? Titus is running like a freight train. He trips and he literally just dives underneath the ring. Corey Graves laughs for the next 20 minutes. BC's cracking up because Corey Graves won't shut up. So I'm laughing my ass off for 20 minutes. And it's just something that's always going to be probably one of the funniest things BC has ever seen. It's up there with, if you guys remember the Rumble, I think it's 1991, but it's around there. 90, 91, 92. I want to say 91. When Luke, was it Bushwhacker Luke? It could be Butch. Man, it was a while ago. We were talking 1991, I believe, guys. But Bushwhacker Luke will say, it could be Butch. He's bushwhacking his way to the ring. He gets in the ring and he's still bushwhacking with his arms. And he just gets thrown out immediately by the earthquake. And he keeps bushwhackering out of the arena, back through the curtain. So he never stopped bushwhacking. He goes down to the ring, he's doing it. Then he gets in the ring, he gets eliminated. He keeps... It's tried to be duplicated time and time again over the years. Santino Marella got into the ring, got thrown over, I believe, and a few other people. Maybe even bushwhackers, because they had a record for the quickest elimination. Maybe that's even been broken. But it's never going to be more funny than when the earthquake threw over one of the bushwhackers over the top rope. It was just fucking hilarious. But Titus O'Neil actually topped that a few years ago. And anyway, during this Royal Rumble video package, which was well done by the top-notch WWE production team, they spent a good 10-15 seconds making sure we all remembered the Titus O'Neil trip. Moving on, guys. Main event, Kevin Owens versus Solo Sikoa. It was odd seeing Solo with his own entrance and theme back, but he did have his own music. It was like, what was it, last week when Io Shirai, I still know her as, she had her own entrance theme back. She had her entrance, and it was odd because now I'm thinking of her in Damage Control. Whenever I think Solo, I think coming out with the Bloodline, throwing up the one or the spike. But no, Solo had his own gig back, man. The Usos were kicked out of the building earlier by Adam Pearce, but again, Jay did make a call over to Sami to see if he was still around because he was going to need him because he's getting kicked out. Sami's going to have to do the business. So Sami Zayn actually saves Solo from nearly being defeated by Owens in this match. Sami Zayn saves the day. Now, I don't know how Roman Reigns is going to feel about this. That's against the Tribal Chief's orders. He didn't want to see Sami Zayn until the Rumble. But I'm sure you can go to the evidence, right? Everything is evidence these days, and you clearly see Jey Uso calling him into the arena to help out because they were being kicked out. So if Sami Zayn's in trouble by it, you'd have to fucking say Jey Uso is as well. So Sami saves Solo in that aspect, but Sikoa inadvertently super kicks Zayn on the outside, takes him out with the super kick. Kevin Owens subsequently pop-up powerbomb Solo onto the announce table. But Owens refrains from taking a chair shot on Zayn. He's got the steel chair in his hand, but he just throws it at the feet of Sami Zayn, still showing that mutual respect and still allowing Zayn to see past the bloodline bullshit and see who his true friend is. So I like the storytelling there. Everything in this story has been top-notch. Instead, Owens turns around and sends a Wabaka chair shot to Sikoa, sending Sikoa over the barricade. And Owens at that point is just screaming out, Sami, see you at the Rumble, see you at the Rumble. And Kevin Owens pretty much ends the show there. Sami Zayn is in awe that Kevin Owens, first of all, that he got super kicked by his own person Solo, and that Kevin Owens didn't add on to it. Kind of letting Sami Zayn kind of ponder who his friend really is, So, again, everything in that storyline has just been top-notch, guys. And it's even the smallest of details. Everything has just been beautifully mapped out and ironed out for Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens, Roman Reigns, the Usos, Solo Sikoa, Paul Heyman. Everybody played their role beautifully. And time for talk for that is over. Royal Rumble is tonight, and that's going to decide the WrestleMania card in a nutshell. You're going to see, for the women anyway, you're going to see exactly who's going for either Charlotte or Bianca. I don't see Alexa Bliss taking the championship. Some people have Alexa. Vegas has Alexa currently at number 5 winning the Rumble. So that means she would lose that and then enter the Rumble for that to happen. So I don't see Alexa taking the title. They do have to make sure she saves face however they book her. So even though she's not going to walk away with the title, you got to book Alexa strong and make her look like a great force. But it's going to be Bianca and Charlotte going into Mania with the titles. So whoever wins this chair, you're going to get to see like who they're going to pick. The matchup should be sitting in their lap. We just got to find out who they're going to go with. And for the men, it has to be Cody Rhodes, you're thinking. If not, Sami Zayn would be the only other runner-up. I don't see a scenario where The Rock shocks everybody, enters the Rumble, and wins it, picks Roman. I'll be down for it. I just think it's got to be Cody's journey to culminate. Sami Zayn's storyline works out immaculately, but you could do that in the Elimination Chamber because that's in Montreal, Sami Zayn's hometown. So, and The Rock doesn't need to win the Rumble to set up a dream match between Rock and Roman if you want to do that at Mania or any other event. So I hope you guys see. It just doesn't make sense. And then we heard the big money offer to Stone Cold to replace The Rock in Mania. Again, it should be Cody and Sami anyway. Night 1, night 2, flip-flop them, however you got to do it. But you have 2 main events for both nights with Roman, Sami, Cody. You don't even need The Rock technically. I want to see that. I know many people do. It's a dream match. It should be at Mania in Los Angeles, in Hollywood. But if you can't get The Rock, we heard the big money deal offered to Stone Cold. I don't see Stone Cold hitting the ring and winning the Rumble. Do you guys? Possibly. Maybe some of you guys put that name down below. I asked you at the beginning of the show. Please put down 2 names down below who you think is going to win the Rumble. Who do you think is going to win the men's Rumble? Who do you think is going to win the women's Rumble? Put those 2 names down below, and we're going to see who's right and wrong when it's all said and done as the majority. Guys, that's it. The Rumble is tonight. BC will cover that fully, and we will have the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hopefully, we can even do that live. That would be badass throughout the event. So we will see. Rock out the rest of the weekend. Get your coffees, ass whoopings, you know it. And then you fucking rock out the Royal Rumble with BC, and we'll talk all about it, man. Thank you for an amazing week. Thank you for an awesome month of content, man. I tried to deliver as much as I could in the month of January because I know February is going to be a little bit more packed with a lot of other things that need to be attended to. So I'm hoping you guys had a really good January full of content. February is going to be a little bit more different, a lot more audio only when I can, but still a lot of content coming. But this is going to be the big one for the Rumble, guys, so I'm hoping you guys are just as excited and ready to rock out. All right, BC, checking you. Red team, rock out. Gold team, much love and respect as well. You know that. Thank you for the channel membership, for the love and respect. Right back to you. Till the Rumble, BC, top guy saying check you. I'm out.